Hey, it's Alyssa from RomeWise, your go-to guide to Rome. Come check out the website for lots of tips and advice for your trip to Rome. On today's video, we're going to be talking about the Spanish Steps, where I'm standing, how they got their name, who built them and why, how many steps there are, and why you can't sit here anymore. Ready? Here we go. The church at the top of the Spanish Steps, see behind me there, it's called the Trinita dei Monti, which means Trinity of the Mount. When it was built in the 1500s, it was just standing up there alone, and this was just a dirt slope. There was really nothing to connect that church on the top of this hill, which is called the Pincian Hill, with the Piazza down below, which is called Piazza di Spagna, Plaza of Spain, which gets its name from the Spanish embassy to the Holy See. That church was and still is French. At the time, the French king asked for there to be some kind of a connection between that church and the piazza below. And he had to work this out with the Pope. The jurisdiction was a little hazy, so this kind of wrangling and arguing about who was going to build it and how and what it was going to look like went on for over 100 years. So by the time it was finally built in the early 1700s, it was no longer the same king and Pope that had anything to do with it. So the steps were finally built by a pretty little known architect at the time named Francesco Sanctis. It was done in 1725, and there are 135 steps. This is the widest monumental staircase in Europe. So what is this boat at the bottom of the Spanish Steps? It's called the barcacha, which means the ugly boat. I don't think it's so ugly, I think it's beautiful. It's from the 1600s. Pietro Bernini, John Lorenzo Bernini's father, made it, possibly with the help of a young John Lorenzo Bernini himself. Now we're in Piazza Mignanelli, which is the piazza right next to the Spanish Steps. It's actually part of the same piazza, but it sort of spreads out into its own trapezoid. And right behind me is the statue to Mary, top there. Every year on December 8th, which is the Immacolata, the Immaculate Conception, the Pope comes here and changes the wreath at the top. He doesn't actually go up there. Firemen do that, but he's here, and it is a pretty big deal. It's also hard to get close to. And behind me you can also see the Spanish embassy to the Holy See. It's been here since 1647. This is the reason for the name, the Spanish Steps, or the Spanish Square, because the name of the Spanish Steps is actually the steps on the Spanish Square, and it's called the Spanish Square because of that embassy. It is a beautiful I think it's a beautiful staircase to walk up, and I actually think it's really special now that nobody's sitting on it. I realize this is frustrating for the people who want to sit on the steps, but it makes it much more navigable, and you can see them in all their glory. You can actually see a lot of the dirt on the steps from when people have been eating here and ice cream has spilled. So that was the first thing they did, was they banned people eating on the Spanish Steps. And here you can see people walking on the steps, taking pictures on the steps, and those guys in the yellow jackets are the police, here to enforce the no sitting rule. So nobody's sitting on the steps. What do you think? Why can't you sit on the Spanish Steps anymore? Well, maybe it's because Bulgari paid a lot of money to have the Spanish Steps renovated. Maybe it's because they're trying to enforce some of the rules to maintain decorum in the city. They have been clamping down on tourists jumping into fountains. There is a 450 euro fine for jumping into the fountains, and they've been fining people. And there will be a 450 euro fine for sitting on these steps. Right now they're just blowing the whistle and telling people no. And I realize this is something that people dream of. They want to come to Rome and they want to sit on the Spanish Steps with a gelato and sort of watch the world go by. You just can't do it anymore. Are we going to talk about if this is a popular measure or not? A lot of people are lamenting this rule. I think it's because they see this as being something special, something that is useful for tourists, and not just tourists, Romans alike. But I'm here to tell you there are a lot of Romans who approve of this, who are grateful and happy that the city is clamping down on what they consider to be a lack of decorum at a lot of the Rome sites, a lack of respect for the monuments and the antiquity. So I think that they are going to keep this rule in place, at least for a while. Now, if you're wondering where you can go and sit around the Spanish Steps, the answer is we don't have a lot of benches in the city, but we do have parks. We have a lot of parks and a lot of green space if you look for them. Just above us is the Borghese Park. It is beautiful, and it's full of places to sit and stroll and have a gelato and enjoy the ambiance. You can go to a cafe then you have to pay. I know, I understand. This was a free place to sit. It was absolutely beautiful, but sorry, you can't do it anymore. So what can you do near the Spanish Steps now that you can't come and sit here? Well, this is the shopping zone, so you can definitely come here and shop. Not far from here is Rinascente, this beautiful flagship department store. You can shop till you drop. You can go to the basement and check out some of the ruins from the time of Augustus. You can go to the top, to the food court, have pizza, drinks, and sit up there. You can also go down all these beautiful streets and do a little shopping, street shopping, boutique shopping. So there's definitely a lot of shopping to be had. We also have the Keats Shelley Memorial House, which is, I think, really special. It's a small museum, but it's worth visiting. We have Piazza del Popolo, which is just at the end of the street at the bottom here, and Piazza del Popolo has an incredible church, Santa Maria del Popolo. There's also a museum dedicated to Leonardo da Vinci. These are all great things that you can do near the Spanish Steps. That obelisk that you see at the top, that is a Roman copy of an Egyptian original. The Egyptian original is in Piazza del Popolo. It was brought here by the Emperor Augustus as a trophy of war when he defeated Antony and Cleopatra, defeating Egypt. This one is a Roman copy. Basically, a Roman patrician who had the money decided that he wanted an obelisk, just like Augustus is, so he had one made for himself. At the top of the Spanish Steps, if you come in time for sunset, it's beautiful. If you come in the morning and you have the sun behind you, you'll have that beautiful glow on the buildings. Let's take a look at what we can see from here. If you come in the spring, April, May, you will see the steps covered in azaleas. It is really special. It's so beautiful. I did a video about it. You can check that out. And if you come the rest of the year, you're not going to see any flowers here, but at Christmas you'll probably see it maybe adorned, maybe some decorations. Every year it changes. Sometimes there are trees here, sometimes there are not. One year it snowed and there was a snowman. That was just somebody who built a snowman. Well, thank you for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video all about the Spanish Steps in Rome. Please hit the like button below if you like this video and subscribe. See you at the next video. Ciao for now.